Greetings, friends. That Gaming Hothy here, and we're finally set up and ready for the first chapter of our D&D campaign. So it's probably going to be about 2-ish hours long, with a break about an hour in. But
Short intermission. Shouldn't last too long.
yeah. And anyway, is there anything you guys want to do or say before we jump into it?
Guacamole.
All right, fair enough.
Guacamole.
Oh boy.
I got nothing.
All right. All right.
Oh, and as soon as I am still kind of setting up, but enough to where I can do both. But I will be playing music just like how I did in the previous episode. It's gonna be the music made by Ol, our dungeon master here.
Oh yeah, I still need to post some of the new music I've composed, but now whatever.
You really should do that.
You want to do that? I want to hear it.
Yeah, that'd be much appreciated.
I know, but it would mean having to use my crappy laptop and using Vegas because I can't install it on my main computer for whatever reason, and my crappy laptop sucks. And I'll get to it eventually. But
I still go back and listen to the Song of Storms remix that you did.
Oh
for me.
yeah, that real old one, still somehow good.
It's great. I love it.
All right. So, with that being the case, I feel like it's probably appropriate to begin since we're at already about like 7:15. So,
Oh crap!
what?
Oh gosh darn it. My audio isn't picking up on Discord.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably a good thing to do.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right,
now,
go ahead
and I can't. Discord isn't picking up you guys.
Wow.
Uh,
There it goes.
Uh,
So it's just like he's talking to
Maybe you
himself.
should give up on streaming.
Heard so many voices at once because I had Twitch like on the background. Like, why can't I hear anything that's going on? All right, now I'm gonna have to cut that out. I'm gonna have to edit this. All right, I'm gonna have
so
to actually
glad he didn't hear
record
that.
this.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Shots fired,
Fuck.
dude.
I know, I didn't hear this. I'm still getting this fucking, Alright, I'm gonna have to actually record this. Gosh darn it.
All right. I mean,
Hold on.
Don't
Alright, what's
edit-
up,
don't-
my fellow weirdos? We're back with Dungeons and Dragons.
Man,
It's
I've
the
got
fuck-
deja vu for the weirdest.
Right?
No. I want none of your sass. I want
Jacob,
none of
I beg you, please do not edit that part out.
Oh, don't worry. I don't edit any of these. Like, I'm posting this straight up so Joe, you will get to hear what Brennan said once this is uploaded.
Oh, well, lovely. That's if I don't hear myself yelling over myself.
Oh no, don't worry. It was pretty clear on our end, so don't worry.
Alright, hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to listen to my stream right quick. I want to see if... Alright, yes it is.
All right.
Joe, when you do hear what I said, please know I was just joking.
Dude, do I ever take anything, like, legit seriously?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Okay, you know what? I don't need your sass.
Dude,
Alright.
we're all sass in this stream.
Oh, don't
Yes.
worry, I'll get pretty monotone when I start playing my character.
Oh yeah, because
Oh.
he's our broody Green Arrow character.
Oh.
And yet, meanwhile,
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna be the one where you guys are gonna have to keep your eye on me.
Oh, dude, yeah, guys, I can only do so much as the DM to keep this guy under control. I think you guys will have to help me out.
Like,
Alright.
what? Like, if you watch my prologue, and those that are watching right now, like, if you watch the previous episode, oh boy, it's gonna be
It's
good.
something.
I sat through the whole thing, it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, and Bob, best NPC. Just saying.
Yes.
Oh, he's the freaking best, but he's the biggest freaking sarcastic asshole.
But I don't like your beard. All right.
I don't
So-
like your face.
All right. So. All right. So with that, are you guys ready to begin?
Yep, I just gotta make sure I got all my dice together.
All right. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and begin because your character doesn't jump in until a little into the beginning. So, our story begins in a little village called Oraltros. It's about early morning at this point, and Soren, if you haven't already, go ahead and mark this as a long rest because you have actually been unconscious for the past 5 days here.
Oh, great. That's fine.
So, with that being the case, as you finally come to, you find yourself laying down in a rather soft bed. The blankets are a little threadbare and thin, and presumably made of burlap from what you can feel, but the bed is comfortable nonetheless. The warm you're in is relatively, or the room you're in is relatively warm, and as you get up and look around, you just see you're in what appears to be like a room in some sort of inn. It's very much a square-shaped room, about like 7 feet by 7 feet, not super big, but it does have a window viewing outside, but the curtains have been pulled. The curtains are about kind of like almost like a transparent bluish, so light is leaking in from them. But all around you just see this rather small, comfortable room in the inn. And while you're just kind of looking around, in all the confusion of everything that's happened to you, you hear a knock at the door, and then you hear a familiar voice say, "Soren, are you awake now?"
Right, yeah, I think so.
"All right, if you don't mind, would you please come on out?"
Where exactly am I coming out to?
Just a little place called the Hidden Outpost Inn. Don't worry, you're safe here. I can assure you that.
Alright, I will go ahead and clamber out of bed and crawl out the door.
All right. So, as you crawl out the door, you are greeted by a short-haired woman. It's the same one that you met in Elysium, who put you through the portal. And beside her is another person. And would you like to go ahead and describe your character, as because you are standing by the short-haired woman?
Yeah, I can. I'm fairly short, but like probably about average height. My hair is nicely kept in an angled bob. I'm wearing like a magenta cloak with like white and yellow flowers on it, along with pretty like long sleeves, not like about like up to my wrist. And then my cloak is like slightly open in the front with an off-white outfit that appears to be like a dress of some kind. And then there's like a belt around my waist with some kind of symbol on as the buckle. And then with that, I have like a strap going across my chest. That's it.
All right. See ya. So, and then this short-haired woman looks at you and goes, "Well, looks like you got some much-needed sleep. How have you been feeling? I know that everything was just crazy. What happened to you?"
Well, I mean, I still haven't quite digested it, but I haven't exactly been given the time to either.
Fair enough. And she goes ahead and turns towards you, and she's like, "So, this here is a new friend of mine. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?"
I look like
Oh, yeah.
slightly like into the room, like in front of the short-haired woman, and I'm like, I like do a wave, and I'm like, "Hey, Cassie," and then like I just stand back.
Yeah. And Soren, would you like to describe your character to her?
Yeah, I posted a picture in the thing just for quick reference, but for verbal reference as well. She has very pale blonde hair, very pale skin. She's dressed in what appears to be somewhat priest-like clothing. It's very modest with a half cloak. It's all in dark colors with some gold on it, wrapped arms. But the most notable thing is that she has this pretty intricately made metal mask that completely covers her eyes and wraps around her head. So she can't actually see your character for reference. But there is, however, a black raven that sits on her shoulder.
Alright.
Yeah. And this here is my friend Soren. She actually came from here in Olivia. She came from the north in the city of Livia. But in any case, it seems like you two have had quite a day, and you, Cassie, would know, like, this is actually probably about half an hour after everything that happened to you. Like, it was
All right.
right after the others kind of left, and you and this short-haired woman had made your way to this village you saw in the distance, and of course, Soren, for you, it has been 5 days. So, like, who knows what's happened in that time? And the short-haired woman just goes ahead and walks towards a table in the center of the room. Looking around now, Soren, you notice that you are in a rather larger living space. This is kind of like where the rooms of the inn are located. You just came from a room in the southern wall, and along the wall you see two more rooms to your left, and then there's another wall on the west with three more doors, and then the remaining walls just have windows, and in the center is kind of like a lobby area. There's a fireplace going kind of in the upper left corner, and in front of you there's a rather large round table with wooden chairs all kind of lined around it. And this short-haired woman goes ahead and sits down at one of the chairs, and she goes, "Why don't you two go ahead and take a breather? Seems like you guys could use the rest, and we'll be seeing the others soon."
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And then, so with that, you guys go ahead and sit down, and
Soren will spend this entire time just uncomfortably staring at the ceiling while her crow just has a beady eye trained on Cassie.
I'm just like, before I sit down, I want to take my chair and, like, go sit in it, like, backwards. So, like, the back of the chair is, like, in my chest.
Yeah.
And I'm cross-armed on top of the chair with my chin, just, like, looking, like, side-eyed at the crow. Like,
And the entire time, the short-haired woman is just kind of leaning back, like with her fingers in her lace, like behind her head, and she's just kind of watching you and the raven stare at each other, and she's just smiling, and she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And and then you guys sit here for about 5 minutes, and then you hear a sound kind of coming in from one of the other rooms. You hear, and then you kind of hear like a thud as our friend Matthias falls to the floor in one of the open rooms. And Matthias, would you like to go ahead and describe your character?
All right. I am quite tall, 6 feet to be exact. My eyes are blue, but my hair is brown, or rather dark brown. I'm 27. Let's see. I'm currently wearing leather armor with a dark green cape that goes down to the backs of my knees.
All right, and as soon as you fall through this portal and you look up and you see these two, you also see this short-haired woman, and you recognize her as the person who kind of indicted you into the Cults of the Black Crystal. And she looks at you and she's all, "Matthias, come join us."
Okay.
All right, so you go ahead and walk over to the table, and do you sit kind of near any particular person, or what do you do?
Yeah, I look around and pick a random seat out of no logical factor at all.
All right, so you just go ahead and pull up a random, like the closest chair, and you just kind of plop down into it, and you look around at these strangers, and you can see the short-haired woman just kind of sitting back all relaxed, watching as the raven on Soren's shoulder is just like having a stare down with Cassie, and the short-haired woman's like, "So, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself to our friends here?"
My name is Matthias. That's all you need to know.
Oh, great. Someone else who won't tell me very much about themselves. Just what I need.
I look over at Matthias and I'm like, "Cassie," and then look right back at the raven.
Who did not look away for even a second.
Yeah, that sounds about right. and then the short-haired woman just kind of smiles and she nods and she's all, "Well, you seem like a real friendly bunch. Don't know." And she's kind of like she's about to speak, but then you hear right above you guys and suddenly this body comes crashing down onto the table and shatters it in half. And our Krampin, would you
Wait,
like
the table or the body?
the body snaps the table in half, and then our Krampin, would you like to go ahead and describe your character for us?
Well, as I'm climbing up and from dusting myself off the table, we could see that I am a what kind of elf am I? I forget.
You are an Eladrin.
An Eladrin?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, oh, okay. Yeah, I am an Eladrin elf. I am 6'8", about a medium buff or a medium body size, about 250 pounds. My eyes are like coal black, and I have like this I have long gray hair going down my back, and like a long, a very long scraggly beard just down with a symbol that's burned into it that will play important later. And I'm a very old man. I know I'm a little out of the age range, but I'm 1,000 years old.
And as you come crashing down, you're just kind of standing back up, rubbing your head. Bob is all squirming around on your staff, and he's like, "What the fuck? Who the?" And he looks up at the short-haired woman, and he goes, "You did this to us!" And the short-haired woman goes, "Freaking calm down. Just find a chair, and that's coming out of your paycheck, our Krampin. We're gonna have to pay for this table."
What? Are you? I don't agree with this. I was not the one who threw myself into a portal. That was your doing.
Touche. And Bob goes, "Touche my ass." And then, so you go ahead and stand up, and you look around at this kind of weird ragtag team. You see a blind woman with a raven on her shoulder staring at this other woman, while Broody McBruderson is sitting kind of in a corner. And so with that, is there anything you do or anything while just kind of looking around?
Go take a seat next to Matthias.
And then Bob's looking around, and he's like, "Looks like a bunch of assholes."
Well, ain't that the truth? But we'll see who is
clarification.
the asshole.
What is Bob?
He, Bimp, or sorry, but I don't know why I said Bimp. Okay, he, sorry. We'll probably go more into it later, but Bob is an imp that is tied down to my staff. Like I'm a warlock, so.
And Bob is not his real name. It's just what his character decided to
Sure,
call him.
Sure.
It's what our Krampin just calls him just to call him that. Like he just like some more backstory. My character is insane. Like that's just how he is. He's insane. So and not only is he tied to the top of my staff which is just a tree branch that was just ripped off. He also has just a random crystal that was found shoved into his head.
Great.
Yeah, and that's our friend Bob. And he does not like our Krampin, and giving the looks of things, he does not like you guys either.
Oh, don't mind Bob. He doesn't like anybody, especially me.
And Bob he's just kind of grinning. And then the short-haired woman just kind of looks around, and she goes, "All right, looks like we're all here." So with that being the case, and she goes ahead and she actually goes ahead, and you see her reach down at the table. She taps it with the tips of her fingers, and then like almost as if watching a tape in reverse, the table flies back up, and all the splinters come back, and the table repairs itself as though nothing happened. She goes ahead and steps onto the table.
Can do that.
Oh, what?
No, like I'm watching her, and then like the table comes back together. I'm like, I can do that, and then look back at the raven.
I love that your attention's at the raven and not this weird imp tied to this old guy's staff.
So like while you were looking
Whoa.
away, the raven like inched its head out a little bit farther towards you, and that's it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I'm fixated on Bob, and I go, never in my life have I thought I would meet somebody in a worse situation than I am.
And Bob, meanwhile, Bob was just kind of glaring at you, and his eyelids kind of twitch a little. He's like, and he looks at our Krampin, and he's like, "The fuck's this guy?"
I'm sorry, I'm still kind of laughing at the thing. Just the comment alone made me lose it. Okay, So where are we at right now? What's being waited on?
All right. So I was just Bob was staring at Matthias, and then he looks over at you, and he's like, "The fuck's with this guy?"
Oh, you don't like anybody, so we should just watch and see what happens.
All right, and then as you say that, Holly kind of clears her throat, and yeah, that's her name. I was about to say it anyway, so I don't even care if I let it slip. But she goes ahead and turns and looks at you, and she goes, "Well, ladies, gentlemen, Raven, Bob, my name is Holly Beckstrom, and as you would know," and she points at our Crampton, "I am a member of what's called the Guild, or in other words, the Inclusion Collaboration, and now you are members as well."
And what
Alright,
does that mean for us?
That's gonna take some explaining.
And she nods, and she just kind of plops down onto the table and sits on it, and she's like, "Yeah, I definitely understand. So, who here has heard of the War of Cleansing?" And I want all of you to go ahead and make a history check for me.
I know nothing.
What dice? A D20?
Yeah, d20 plus your history, which would be...
Which is 2, so 17.
All right, ooh, 17.
I rolled a 5.
Brennan?
So, okay, so I only add +2 because I don't have a proficiency in that.
Yeah,
Okay, and that was a
a d20.
D20.
Which now
Wait,
that I'm thinking
Oh
about it,
wait,
makes sense.
what? What do you mean a proficiency?
Oh, so like if there's if the dot next to the name is colored in, that means you're proficient in it, which would mean that you add your proficiency bonus. So if it was colored in, you would add 2 to what you already have, so it would be a +4 total.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. Never mind. Mine was 15.
Okay. All right. So.
Evidently, I rolled a 21.
Oh wow! Surprisingly more well known than our old man. All right. So. So. She's going to explain this in a moment, but you would know the War of Cleansing is something that happened in the year 12,000 BC, where like this world of Inclusia is where humans and all matter of non-humans, like monsters, elves, etc., all kind of coexist. But one day, some of the monsters, as they evolved, they were no longer able to sustain themselves with just basic food, and some of them started resorting to eating humans as a result of sustenance, but only a select few. However, the humans took this as almost a declaration of war and decided to wipe out any and all non-human or elven creatures to prevent them from uprising against humanity. So, over the next 100 years after that, the humans were basically just wiping out all these monsters. And after 100 years, the monsters evolved and became strong enough to fight back. Essentially, the entire world became a bloodfest, and eventually, from your role, I'd say you'd know that an elven woman by the name of Sylvia Godswood appeared out of nowhere, and through just sheer diplomacy and benevolence, managed to convince both sides to stop fighting and start repairing the world back to normal. And for her deeds, she ascended to godhood, and though she's only known by a few people nowadays, some say that she does still hold influence over the world. And so that's just knowledge you would inherently know, but as I was saying that, Holly would have explained this to the rest of you.
And I rolled a 21, so I know her personally.
I already know all this.
Oh yeah, more or less, yeah.
Our Craven was there.
Not quite. This is the year 1859 or whatever, and this was the year 12,000 BC.
Oh.
12,000, yeah, 12,000, not 1,200. But, yeah, so Holly finishes her explanation, and she goes, "Well, rumor has it that something like this has been happening again. As monsters grow more aggressive, the humans are starting to get a little stir-crazy and beginning to retaliate, and the Guild, or the Inclusion Collaboration, we're here to essentially prevent something like that from happening. And the four of you, and she just kind of looks at all of you with wide eyes, and she kind of, when she notices that the raven is still staring at Cassie, she kind of snaps, and she's like, all of you have something special. You guys were chosen by the gods, and that's why we wanted to bring you here.
All right, that's a call-in if ever I heard one.
Have any of you ever heard voices from places that you weren't really familiar with?
Oh yeah!
So
Well-
much has become familiar.
I hear the voices all the time.
I'm gonna break eye contact with the raven and like I'm like done with it now. I'm like, it's just a bird. And then I'm looking at Holly, I'm like, voices. You know my experience.
Although I can assure you, my reasoning for hearing these voices is much different than this quack over here. Points at our Crampon.
See, you just consider yourself lucky for that.
And Bob's just laughing. And then Holly just kind of nods and she goes, well, yes, I believe we all know our Crampon is little, and she kind of waves her index finger around her ear, and then eh.
This is no time to be winding clocks.
Oh god.
yeah, that's him. And she goes, so
This is our Crampon.
she goes, so yes, this is the purpose you guys have for being here. And originally we were supposed to start in the city of Livia, but someone, and she goes ahead and looks at you, Soren, kind of made the queen disappear.
Alright, well, to be fair, that wasn't exactly my fault.
You know magic?
Well, yes, but the queen disappearing, that wasn't my doing.
Yeah, to be fair, what happened to you was an unfortunate turn of events and coercion from what I've heard. But regardless, we got you out of a dangerous situation. Be glad I pulled you out when I did, because otherwise things would not have ended so cleanly. Regardless, the situation in Livia has grown rather dire with the disappearance of the queen and the mass murder at the Church of Giselle. They've been on quite high alert, and since no one can find the king either, they've just been relying on the district mayors for words of advice, and many of them are not very benevolent people. They're all former members of the Yorzian Empire who, as pretty much all of you would know, regardless of your history checks, you know about the Yorzian invasion, as this happened just 10 years prior. And what happened was members of the empire from the province of Yorzian, which is far to the east, came and invaded and took over the entire continent of Unistalad. And then the King Garen and Queen Lenora of the Orlivia province were driven out of the province, and then just in 6 months gathered an entire army from around the world, came back and completely destroyed Yorzian's rule, and pretty much saved Unistalad from Yorzian. And some people from Yorzian are still ruling around, kind of like the current residing queen in excuse me, in the continent, or in the province of Ishtorai, which you know. And yeah, and essentially there are remnants of those people who are seeking revenge, and now that the queen is gone and the king has been missing for quite some time anyway, they are seeing this as a particularly grand opportunity. And as Holly is explaining this, she kind of looks at all of you, and she goes, Crampon, you were friends of the king and queen, were you not?
Oh, yes, yeah, oh, yeah.
Bob,
Oh, I love my muffins!
Yeah. Yeah.
and then Holly just kind of looks at Matthias, because like I'm just gonna assume that was in character, and she just kind of looks at Matthias and just kind of lifts an eyebrow and shakes her head, and then Bob, like as our Crampon is answering, Bob's like, She didn't like your fucking sriracha muffins. She took them out of pity.
Sriracha?
You can insult me. You can insult my magic, but don't you dare insult my muffins.
And then Holly just kind of snaps again right in Bob's face, and she goes, "Hey, seriously." But she does, like you can see, she's kind of still laughing a little bit. But she says, "So right now, I had to bring you guys all here because of the situation in Livia. We will still need to go there because I do have one point of contact, named Egil Savage. He works at Old Savage's Pub and Inn. And Soren, you know that place. That's where you found Lucius all drunk a few days ago."
Right.
And yeah, and she says, so he's our point of contact in all this, and he is the one who's going to help us get started with all of this. But in the meantime, I wanted you guys to stop here because this is a good place to go ahead and kind of get a lay of the land, maybe get some things for yourselves, and well, as soon as you're ready, we'll probably rest for the night and begin making our way towards Livia. But, and she kind of looks again at all of you, she says, I would probably recommend getting different clothing, especially you, and she points to you, Soren, and she says, because
Right.
they are well familiar with what happened, and you know
Right,
Ben.
point of interest, I'm not so much worried about my clothes, but it's kind of hard to hide this. And she points to her mask and her raven. And no offense, but they're kind of essential.
And she nods and she's like, that's true. So, we'll have to figure something else out. And she kind of strokes her chin. And she goes, well, regardless, I'm going to leave you guys be. I will be hanging out by the horse stables, and I'll be making sure we secure some rides to Livia soon. So if you have any questions or anything, definitely feel free to come to me. And she goes ahead and stands up and heads around the table and downstairs into the first floor of this inn. And that's when you guys realize that you're actually on the second story. So with that, you guys are just kind of sitting here in a awkward circle, and Bob's just kind of looking around, and he's like, well, I don't fucking know what to do. And with that, what would you guys like to do?
Alright, any of you have any idea what's going on at all, or am I the only one confused?
I was just gonna ask what time it is, roughly.
Oh, yeah, it's about 9:12 in the morning.
Okay. Just for a point of reference.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what's
I've been
going on.
silent, confused about a lot of things this whole time, so I have no room to talk anywhere. I've
It's
had
probably not a good
lot of
idea to
questions.
rely on the person who just found a random imp and just tied it to a stick just because.
All right. So, with that being the case, you guys just go ahead and sit here, just kind of unsure about what to do, and you hear more footsteps kind of ascending the stairs up to the top, and you can see this rather short halfling man with kind of a, kind of like a patchy. Shoot, I totally forgot. Where is he? Like, oh yeah, okay, I was right. So he's kind of got like this patchy silver beard, and he's got like a very clouded eyes that just don't really have any color anymore, and he's got like this dark brown skin, and he walks up to you guys, and he just kind of looks at you, and he's like, you must be all these new recruits, are you?
It appears so.
From what she's told us.
And
I just go along with things.
and the halfling just kind of laughs, and he's like, that's gonna get you in trouble. And he looks at the imp, and then he looks at the symbol in your beard, and he's like, those are gonna get you in a lot more trouble. And then Bob's like, that's supposed what's that? English is not my first language, I'm sorry. And then the halfling, it just goes, well, welcome to the Hidden Outpost. My name's Marks, and I am, well, I suppose you can call me this building's current owner. Is there anything you would like to eat? Anything to drink? Everything's on the house. Holly already paid for the whole thing.
I mean, I wouldn't mind some regular food for once.
All right. Anything?
I could eat.
All right. What would you like, crazy old beard?
I could use some roasted chicken.
All right. And you, Mr. Guy in the back?
Hold on.
Chicken does sound
I
good.
am completely silent, and I give him a stare. Can I roll for intimidation?
Sure. Why not?
Just
Wonderful.
like fucking, just like the little jerk, you know, where you just move your shoulders. I'm just
Yeah.
like, want some of this?
+7. Beautiful.
Dude.
That's a D20, right?
Yeah.
God.
25.
Dude. Like,
Fucking runs away crying for mama.
like you guys are just kind of having a stare down, and he's trying to hold his ground, but like he just kind of, like he starts kind of squirming a little bit, and he just looks away, and then he looks at Cassie, and he's like, what would you like?
I turn around in the chair since it's like, and then the back, my back is back against the chair, and I'm facing him. I'm like, I wave my hand forward towards him, like, milk.
All right, sounds good. And so I will go ahead and make all your meals. Like I said, everything's on the house, so don't worry about paying. And he looks at Matthias, and he's all, "You're not gonna make very many friends with that kind of stare."
One thing, please.
All right.
I need a goddamn drink.
God, the suspense. I'm like, it's killing me. I'm like, what do you want?
Is he gonna ask for somebody's head on a plate? Is he gonna ask for
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm like, it's like a one thing. I'm like, what?
Roll for gore. Okay. All right. And so, and then Marks just kind of nods, like almost like it's a very like respect kind of nod, and he goes ahead and heads back downstairs. And with that, you are all left to your own devices. You can kind of hear the fire crackling in the upper left corner. So, with that, what would you guys like to do, or is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Alright, well, you seem like a real chatty lot. I'm gonna go try and find some better clothes.
Good luck.
Just silence.
Yeah. Since we're just sitting here in silence, I want to take out,
Do I have anything?
there was a diary that I got,
Oh, you're right.
and I want to take that out and start reading through it.
All right, so you do go ahead and read through the diary, and I will send you the notes to that later because the
Okay.
information in there is pretty secret.
Okay.
All right, and Soren, you said you're going to go look for clothes?
Yes.
All right, and our Krampin or Matthias, is there anything you guys want to do while she's doing that and Cassie is reading this diary?
I will be silently sitting and staring at the counter waiting for my drink.
All right, sounds good. Our Krampin?
Okay, I think I misheard of like where we're at. Like, what is the setting right now of where I'm at?
Okay, so you are on the second floor of the Hidden Outpost Inn, and
Okay.
and you're in kind of like this rectangular foyer area, and like there are the inn rooms on the west and southern sides of the walls, but then the north and east walls both just have windows, and on the east wall there's like a staircase leading down to the general lobby, which as Soren's heading downstairs, you'd see is like you can see at the front desk there is a kitchen right behind the area where you'd like check in and everything, and that's where Marks is working on his food. And downstairs there's another fireplace, but this one's on the western wall, and around this kind of stone fireplace are kind of the skinned heads of various like animals and monsters, like kind of hung up like trophies, and there are various like pictures on the southern and northern walls. And everything, and that's just kind of the layout of this inn. And for
Alright.
for anyone who's, or actually, Krampin, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
A perception, D20.
Yeah, D20 plus what your perception would be.
Alright, perception.
Oh, you're proficient, so that'll be +6.
Oh yeah, well, wait. It says +4 for me.
Yeah, but because you're proficient in it, you add your proficiency bonus, which is 2. So,
Oh, so that means I was 17 before. Okay, so it's just add 2 more when the little thing is filled out.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's 6. 15?
All right,
Yes, 15.
fair enough. So, as you're kind of looking around and getting the lay of this in the kind of western area of this second floor, you can see kind of a kind of like an indented square on the ceiling, and it has kind of like a small rope handle attached to it, and you're not sure how in the world short little Marks can reach that, but somehow he can. Or not. You're not quite sure, but still. You can see that there is a third floor to this place, but it can only be accessed through that door.
Alright, so what I will do is I will also wait for my food while I also noticed I wanted to look back at my character sheet here. Not only will I wait, I will also just start singing a random song in Minotaur.
Yes, that is the epitome of our Krampin right now. And Bob's singing along because he knows exactly the language too, so he's just kind of singing with you. But he's not even singing the same words, but he is following along with your melody. But
It's like Minotaur, so it's just like.
I'm gonna look over my shoulder and then just look back at the diary, just alright, this is the group of people I have to deal with.
Yeah, these are your.
Way too busy to just pondering all sorts of questions that have risen up in my brain due to the fact that all this is quite. I don't know. I just have a lot of questions.
Oh yeah,
It's
well
a
I'm.
bit much.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, and so while you guys are waiting for your food and you're just kind of listening to this duet by our Krampin and Bob, Soren, you are going and heading out of the inn. And as you go ahead and open the door and you look out at this village, you notice it's less of a village and more of like an outpost. It's it's almost like a rather small business district without any of the surrounding residential areas you're used to in the city of Livia. So it's it's like this circle with various marketplaces, and all around it is basically countryside. And as you're walking through, go ahead and make a quick perception check for me real quick.
That will be an 18.
Perfect. So as you're walking around, you notice this is less of a place that people would live, and more of a stop, it's mostly just merchants that live here, but there are also housing areas where you can see Crownsguard members from the city of Livia. This is likely a place that members of the Orlivian military usually stay if they're being deployed outside of the city of Livia. So it's definitely not a residential area, but from the looks of it, these Crownsguard members are not really giving you any looks, any glances, or anything. So for the time being, it doesn't seem like they recognize you.
Okay.
So with that, are you looking for a clothing shop?
Yes, I'm kind of shop where I might be able to obtain some more normal-looking clothes for sure.
All right. So with that, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That will be a 20.
Perfect. So with that being the case, it doesn't take long. Like I said, this outpost area is quite small. It's probably got about a 40-foot radius. It's really not that large at all. But you go ahead and you come up to this rather short building. It's about 1 story tall. It's got a flat ceiling or flat roof and kind of arched windows at the front. And on the right above the door, there's a sign that says Mandrake's Wanders. And looking inside through the windows, you can see kind of rows of clothing and just various accessories and such. Do you go in?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And as soon as you enter, you go ahead and you see at the front counter there is a particularly extravagantly dressed Sahuagin male. And as you open the door, he kind of looks up at you and he goes, "Oh, a customer! All right, all right." And then he goes ahead and walks up to you and he kind of looks at you and he looks at the mask and the raven and he goes, "We got some interesting types, but nothing like you. What's your name?"
Soren?
Soren, nice to meet you. I am Mandrake, the owner of Mandrake's Wonders, and what are you looking for?
I'd like to look a little bit more normal.
All right, fair enough. He kind of looks at you and... Oh, shit. He looks at you and he goes, you seem like one who's had a lot of troubles lately, huh? Trouble with the law, perhaps?
No, no trouble with the law, just trouble with some friends of mine.
Fair enough.
Which is not technically a lie. So...
Yeah, you don't know. You don't even. Although I will say he rolled a 20 on his insight check, so he.
Okay.
But he just nods and he's like, yes, something more normal. And he goes ahead and turns around. Like his clothes are very they're very glittery and like the sleeves kind of have these strands hanging down. Like they sway and like he's got like this really long tailcoat and like he's walking with this like very elegant and kind of like just flamboyant poise, and he's like looking at the clothes, and he's like, let's see. And he goes ahead and he kind of pulls out this rather large kind of gray cloak that seems rather thick, and it's got like this really long hood. And he goes, it's not very stylish, but with that thing on your face and the thing on your shoulder, I think if you're trying to look more normal, you're going to want to at least hide the mask. Go ahead and give this a try. And he goes ahead and hands you the cloak. Do you take it?
Yeah.
All right, and you take it, and it's actually surprisingly heavy. Like in your hands, it's like it actually kind of weighs your arms down just a little bit, almost like you're holding a weighted blanket. And you go ahead and just
try it on, and how's it look?
All right. You go ahead and put it on, and it is a little large, but based on kind of what you're looking for, that is the intended purpose. Like the hood does cover the top half of your face for the most part, so it does indeed hide the mask. You can't necessarily hide your raven or anything, but like I said, that's kind of necessary anyway. So you go ahead and throw it over, and then Mandrake kind of looks at you and clasps his hands together, and he goes, "Oh, it looks marvelous on you, darling. So that cloak will run you at about... that'll run you about 10 silver. Do you think you can cover the cost?"
Sorry, what you said? 10 what?
10 silver.
Let me double check and see what she's got. All right. I'll take this, and do you have any sets of more normal actual clothing?
Oh, we got plenty. So he kind of takes you through the store and is kind of giving you like a little bit of a tour with very wildly grand gestures that almost kind of smack your face every once in a while because he's just waving his arms because like you can tell he's having a lot of fun with the strands hanging from his sleeves. And and he does finally bring you to this area where there's like like he kind of brings you into the aisle and he's like, these clothes aren't exactly the most stylish, but I know you're not exactly looking for something that'll draw much attention. And he pulls out a set of a regular travel garb that actually looks kind of similar to what Holly wears. Like you can kind of presume that maybe she got her travel gear here. It's kind of like a green tunic with long sleeves, kind of like a leather chest plate over it, and kind of black thick pants, and he also brings out a pair of very well made tanned leather boots, and he's like, so for the cloak and this set of clothing, that'll run you more at about 23 silver.
All right, you got it, and I'll hand it over.
Yes, thank you very much. And he goes ahead and takes the silver and he hands you the clothing, and he kind of looks at you again, and he kind of speaks a little quieter, and he's like, so you're with Holly, from my understanding, is that correct?
I don't know who I'm with, to be quite honest, at this point in time.
And he nods, and he's like, Yes, I understand. Well, if you do see her, she's kind of like a very unstylistic woman with short hair. I don't know why she thinks that's a good haircut, but if you see her, send her my regards.
Right. I'll if I do that, also, or if I see her, I'll do that. Yeah, sure.
All right, fare thee well, and don't let them see you. And he just kind of smiles and goes back behind the counter.
And I'll just very uncomfortably leave the shop.
All right, so then as you do, we go back into the inn here, where the rest of you have been waiting for your food, and Marks finally comes back up, and he hands you, Cassie, your glass of milk. He hands our Krampin the fried chicken, and he hands a like a plate of dog food to Bob, and Bob's like, "Ah, what is this?" And Marks is like, "That's your food. Now eat it. If you want anything else, I'll make you pay for it." And Bob's like, "You see a fucking wallet on my person?" And then he ignores you, and then he looks over at you, Matthias, and he slides a glass of ale your way. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh god, another one of these. Last time it did not go so well.
It didn't go well for
It was well, yeah, same.
So dexterity.
Yeah, dexterity saving throw.
Ended up running out of the bar,
So-
flailing my arm.
Yeah, you are proficient in it, so it'll be a +6.
Okay. La-di-da.
Oh no.
25 again.
Dude, so the glass slides across the table and you kind of let it like fall off the edge, but as soon as it like starts falling, you just quickly like lift it up and nothing spills out, and you just kind of hold it. and
Yeah, okay, run.
I think this website is rigged.
What?
I think this dice roller is rigged.
And then Marks just kind of looks at you with this like smile, and he just nods, and he's like, "Nice." And he goes ahead and heads back downstairs. So with that, you guys have your meal. Is there anything you'd like to do while you're eating, or is there anything you'd like to discuss?
Uncomfortably stare at each other while we eat.
Yeah.
Seems to be the trend.
As I finish the meat around the chicken bones, I just force feed the bones to Bob.
And then go ahead and make a general, just a general strength check. So for you,
General strength.
oh yeah, okay, that's a +0.
I would have laughed if you said animal handling.
Oh my gosh, that'd be even better, but
A D20 at +0.
yeah.
10.
Oh,
All right, and then hang on, let me.
So it's like I'm trying to shove them in, but they're breaking like on his like teeth or something.
Well, no, like actually, as you're doing that, he just like his mouth opens up to like twice the size of his face, and he takes the bones in, and they like go right down his throat with no issue, and he just kind of grins and he's like, "I've had practice."
Oh, I bet you have. Bones alive.
What did they have you doing in hell?
Oh boy, and then all
The
right,
character did not say that, by the way.
yeah, no, don't worry.
But I just angstily downing his drink in order to drown his sorrows.
Angstily downs the Oh my goodness. All right. And Soren, you haven't quite made your way up to the inn yet, but as you're passing by, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Okay. 16.
Perfect. So, as you're walking by, you kind of start to hear whisperings of some of the merchants around you, and you kind of catch the tail end of a sentence, and they're like, "Yeah, it couldn't go yesterday. I don't know. That thing gives me the creeps." And you look to your left, and you can kind of see this this rather young-looking kind kind of half orc merchant man with like a he's kind of like got a cart of various wares that look like they might have been stolen at some point. But he's talking to this human woman kind of clad in similar like travel garb that Holly and now you have, and the human woman goes, "I know when monsters don't usually show up on the roads," and just kind of listening in on this conversation, you can tell they're talking about something that normally doesn't appear here necessarily. And just listening in on the rest of the conversation, you hear them talking about this really large beast that has been kind of stalking the perimeter of the village of Oraltros for a couple days now for some reason.
Okay.
And merchants are talking about not feeling safe leaving town.
Okay.
All right, and then do you head back up to the inn?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you go ahead and head back up, and everyone's meals are all ready, and you can kind of just hear the awkward silence, basically, because hearing silence is a thing you can do. And
I
yeah.
just forgot
I'm
something
just
that like can I do something that's like something I was like that I had an idea for. Can I go around and try to sell drugs to people?
All right, so first off, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
A perception. Where's my d20? There it is. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Just to put this out there, while I'm like reading, I've seen that I've gotten my milk, so like as I'm reading, I'm just like, ooh, juicy.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Oh, yeah.
reading.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll send you the notes of those later.
Yeah.
Proficiency, you said?
Yeah, so it'll be a +6.
Oh, right.
Percep-
Right. Perception? What?
Yeah, perception.
Oh, I thought I said proficiency. Okay, perception, so +6, 14, 20.
All right, so sure enough, looking around the inn, you do see a few potential customers. You do see kind of like downstairs in the downstairs area, sitting at a couple tables, is like a kind of like a couple of men and their kid just kind of sitting there eating a meal, and there's like a few half elf people just kind of sitting around with some drinks, and they're just kind of cheering, and then Marx is just kind of leaning back in his chair behind the proprietor's counter reading a book. Do you go ahead and try to sell drugs to these potential clients?
Yes.
Jesus.
All right. I forgot what I had you roll for this. Go ahead and...
Wasn't it persuasion or something?
Oh yeah, persuasion. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, which you are also proficient in. So go ahead and add 6 to that.
That was the point. That's why I had this in mind. Keep in mind, like that's one of the things that people say. It's like he's crazy. He sells drugs to like children and animals.
Oh my goodness.
All right. +6 you say in persuasion? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, plus 24.
Oh shit. So
Sell all the drugs.
oh yeah, you like even to Marx and even this child, but you manage
God.
you manage to sell like all sorts of wares, just kind of talking to them, and you convince them it's something else entirely, and you convince them you're entirely sane the whole time. And
Somehow.
you managed to make 30 gold off of this.
30 gold? Hell yeah.
You guys want free powers?
Magic powers for absolutely free.
Yes.
Okay, how do I add to this again?
So
Plasma ball that gives you magic powers?
if you click manage equipment, there should be like it should bring up a tab, and then it should say currency, and you should be able to edit it from there.
Oh my goodness.
Currency. Duh, right in
Yeah.
front of my face. Okay, 30 gold.
Yeah, 30 gold from selling drugs to literally everyone in the inn.
Everyone in the inn.
Except for the people you're traveling with, because these guys are smart enough to know not to trust you.
Yay.
30 gold off your endeavors, and
I may be crazy, but but that's why I selected the persuasion, because I had this in mind. Just like, yes, I'm crazy, but here, have thing.
yeah, but like these people thought you were perfectly sane doing this, so you're like,
Meanwhile, Bob's just there, just looking at him, just going, "Really? You're
Oh, yeah.
buying from this guy?"
And then when you get to like the couple and their kid, like the kid just kind of looks up at Bob and
hold on.
like,
Kind of cut out there.
oh, I was saying, and while you're like doing this, and you go up to the couple and their kid, and like the kid is looking up at Bob, and he's got like this wide smile on his face, and Bob just kind of snarls at him with his wide teeth, and then the kid just kind of shrinks away, and he like kind of turns to his parents, and like he starts crying, but like thankfully,
don't worry about him. He's harmless. Now, how about some drugs?
all right, so you go ahead and finish making your sales, and now you are back upstairs, and the four of you are here, and Cassie, you have finished reading the diary, which is full of all sorts of not only juicy secrets, but very important info, which I will send you later. But now,
Probably state we do not condone the buying of illegal drugs.
so saith
Unless
you.
they're really good.
Unless they're really good.
Oh boy. Alright, so you go and return back upstairs, and now all of you are gathered once more, and you notice that Soren has gone herself some new clothing and everything. And with that, is there anything else you guys would like to do? It's probably about 11 at this point. In the morning.
Can we just move on with the campaign?
Well, well, it's
Well, like meaning
In
like
order to do
sorry.
so, we have to do something.
yeah, exactly. This is like you guys are part of the game too.
Sorry, I meant as like what's inside, like what I think of when I just play games, and like it's just like continuing with the story. Like meaning like, can we just move on with the mission?
Well, that's why I just wanted to make sure you guys wanted to do stuff so with that being the case, if you guys didn't want to do anything else, as you're just kind of hanging out in the day just kind of passes. You guys haven't really talked a whole lot, but there has been a lot of stare downs between Cassie and the Raven, and Bob just kind of proud of his accomplishment of managing to eat a bunch of bones in one go. And with that being the case, evening finally falls, and it is about time to go ahead and rest. So with that being the case, is there anything you guys would like to do before resting?
I wanted to go see if the merchants had like good stuff.
All right, so if you want to, this is basically a merchant town, so they're open all night if you want to go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, I want to head out like out of the inn. I already put all my stuff away.
All right, so yeah, you have everything else away, and then
Before I leave, I'm like going to go check out maybe nice stuff. Anybody want to tag along for any reason?
I have my own business to attend to.
all right, Batman, and so
I need to rest my old bones.
all right,
Pass out.
like just right there on the table.
Yep.
All right,
Just
cool.
in the chair.
All right, and then as you do, you just kind of drop your staff to the floor, and Bob lands right on his face, and you just kind of hear ah, and then.
And I'm just like asleep, but my eyes are just wide open.
And then Soren, anything you wanted to do?
Nope, she's just contentedly munching.
All right, so Cassie, you go ahead and it seems no one really wants to go. So with that being the case, you go ahead and walk back down the stairs, and you look over, and you see Marks is kind of passed out on his chair, and his head's like kind of rolling back, and he's all snoring real loud, and you can see all the other people staying at this inn. They look off, that's for sure. A lot of them are just kind of leaning back, and their eyes are just kind of staring into space, and
Oh my god.
some of them are just kind of talking about random stuff, and he's like, dude, I know. And the kids passed out on the ground, and
Oh my god.
No, he's overdosing.
and you go ahead and you walk outside. Make an investigation check.
I'm not proficient in that, so 19.
Oh, not bad. So you do look around, and it's you actually do see a couple different places. So not only do you see the Mandrake's Wanders that Soren visited earlier, but you do end up seeing an armory. Hold on, I gotta pull up my notes because I don't memorize crap well. Alright, so you do see an armory.
Makes it blow your nose.
Oh, you do see a place called the Shattered Blade Armory, which is kind of like a two-story building, kind of made of scratched together metal plates. It kind of reminds you of Mel Green's place in a way, but you can see outside that there are a couple of what look to be human teenagers, kind of just sitting there, hanging out with. They've got their wares kind of laid out, and you can. Do you go ahead and approach this armory?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Alright.
go ahead and head straight for the armory.
All right, sounds good. So, with that being the case, one of the teenage boys kind of perks up and looks at you, and he goes, "Oh, hey, is there anything you wanted? It's got a little late for shopping, but hey, we're open all night." So, kind of looking at their wares, you do see that there are kind of like varying types of swords. There are like kind of standard issue shields as well. There are like chest plates, chainmail, and then they do show you that they also have 2 potions of healing in stock.
I see you guys have shields here. How much can I get for one of these?
Oh yeah, and then the like the teenage boy's been talking to you, kind of slaps the shoulder of the other guy, and he goes, "Hey, go get the shields." And then he's like, "Oh yeah," and he goes up and standing up, you can see he's way taller than you would have imagined. He's probably like somehow like 7 feet tall which is really tall for a freaking human. And he goes ahead and he walks. He like clumsily stumbles into the armory and comes out with like this giant cardboard box. Like he's carrying it like it's nothing, but you can kind of hear metal clanking, and he kind of slams it down onto the counter. And inside, you can see kind of like shields of various shapes. Like they're just kind of like a rounded. Like buckler shields, kind of like made with like reinforced wood and iron, and then they're just kind of straight iron or steel shields, and they're all about probably about like 3 feet tall and like a foot and a half wide,
More than half of my height.
and the initial teenage boy is like, well, you can get any shield you want from this box. Any of them will run you at about 30 gold.
30 gold. Holy crap.
And then the tall boy nods and is like, "Yeah, our dad makes them himself."
Is there any way that you have smaller ones? I mean, these are quite. I like point to one and I'm like, that compared to me. It's about.
But I mean, hey, it offers good protection though.
I want to like, I could do without a shield for right now. I want to look at the other stuff. So like, you said there's swords.
Oh yeah, so there are. You do find that there are like they just have an array of various like short swords and long swords and even broadswords, and some of them like kind of have kind of jagged edges at the blade that look like may have been warped in the kind of like the forging process. And the shorter teenage boy goes, "Yeah, any of these swords will run at about 50 gold."
Holy crap!
50 gold's expensive for what appears to be crappy made swords.
I'm like, I like, kind of, I look at my mace and I'm like, I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm good for tonight. And I like turn away, like.
Alright, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
I'm pretty sure I am proficient in that, so it's +2. That is a 19.
Wow. So as you do that, you kind of hear the taller teenage boy's like, "Wait," and he's like, he kind of turns to the shorter one. He's like, "You know, Dad messed up on a lot of these. And he's like, "Yeah, I know, but he said." He's like, "I know what he said," and he looks at you and he goes, "How about we give you one of these smaller shields and for let's say 15 gold, and we'll throw in a potion of healing."
For 15 gold?
Yeah.
A shield
These kids are
and...
dumb!
I mean, yeah, I'm like, and then you see the shorter one, like,
Get out of that.
"What are you doing?"
That was like,
I
yeah, it's like got like a shield and a potion for what I paid for for 2 potions.
I could go for that. You make a nice bargain, kid. I hand over
The
the
15
15
gold.
gold.
All right, and he's like, "Thank you." And then the shorter boy is like, he's just kind of stammering and looking at the taller one, and he's like, "But when Dad gets mad, I'm telling him, whatever." And he goes ahead and storms off into the armory, and then the tall boy goes ahead and he hands you like a kind of like a shorter bronze or not bronze, a oh my gosh, buckler shield. I couldn't think of the word, and it's like holding it on your arm. It definitely it goes around. It's like about it's about 1.5 by 1.5, like on both sides. So it's definitely more your size. And he goes ahead and hands you the potion of healing as well.
Okay.
And he goes, "Be safe out there. Been hearing about monsters."
I will. You run a nice business here, and then I'm gonna hand over one more extra piece of gold.
And he kind of looks at the gold and he smiles and he's like, "Thank you." And he goes ahead and slips it into his pocket and sits back down. And with that, as you go ahead and turn around and leave, you can hear an earth-shattering in the distance. And you can feel the ground shaking as you hear outside the village. You can see the gigantic shape of what appears to be some sort of almost dinosaur-like beast, and it turns and looks into the city and lets out another extremely loud roar, one that like everyone in the village can hear. And that's where we'll take our
Krampin
break.
just falls out of his
Holy
chair.
crap.
Oh boy! All right. So with that, we are going to go ahead and take just a quick 10-minute break. We'll go ahead and meet back here for the rest of the episode. All right.
Aye.
Alright.
Goodies.
All right.
And that'll just be the end of part 1 of this little series. I'll just upload just a separate video, so make sure you stay aware of my weirdos.
Cool,
All right.
cool.
See you guys back in 10 minutes.
See y'all at 8:36.
8:36. Gotcha. Alright, I'm still gonna be on for a bit. Let's let the music go.
Is it just a regular one?
What?
The healing potion.
Oh yeah, just regular.
I feel like I should have just given her a cat so that my cat constantly meowing all game long.
Okay, I can, like, every time I heard your cat, my heart would, like, melt going, "Oh, it's so cute!"
She is so freaking needy. Oh my god.
Like, every time, like, I didn't even care that, I don't even care that it could be heard on the audio. I'm just like, good. Like, the cat is adorable. Like, I love,
Wants to
like,
play.
I love
Yes.
when cats, like, actually are vocal.
She is so loud.
It's adorable.
And she's not like meowing at other things too. She's very specifically giving me shit for not playing with her the second I got.
Wow.
She is not happy at all.
Alright, so...
Such a turkey.
just
Oh yeah, I
boot up
can
my phone
use.
by
Alright, so I'm gonna get
Oh, yeah.
started on editing that. Because there
sent
was
you
one
the,
thing I wanted
notes.
to
I see
have
it.
like something be as an overlay. I forget who sent that pic to Discord, but I'm going to like have that picture be over like show up for a few seconds when she said that it was sent.
Yeah.
It is worth noting I don't own that picture. I don't know if that matters.
No, I don't have anything monetized, and I was gonna say I was just gonna like put some text underneath like this is what was referenced.
Yeah. It is from a video game, so.
Makes sense.
Right.
Oh. Oh no, I got it. I was confused.
Confused about what?
I was adding my stuff, and I thought I got rid of all my stuff,
Oh, okay.
but no, I fixed it. Trying to read this juicy.
It is a short
Dude.
synopsis, but.
Shenzi, calm your tits. I will play with you when we're done.
I keep forgetting how much I love my intermission screen.
Meow. Meow.
So cute.
Needy baby. Yes, you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, Shenzi. Ridiculous animal.
Huh?
Oh, did you accidentally break the pencil?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Story of my life. This party has the best dynamic, by the way. You guys are awesome.
Sweet.
Such a hot mess already.
Exactly, and it's so perfect.
Shenzi. Come up here, you butt. Come on. Get up. Come here. Oh my god. This bitch.
Wait, wasn't there a way to edit a video from YouTube? Like,
Not-
didn't they have their own editing software?
Not to my knowledge. I know that you can like cut parts out, I think, but that's all I can remember.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm finally getting Photoshop.
This campaign's gonna be great.
Oh, sweetie.
That's the culprit of the sound, by the way.
Because you can, like, edit videos in Photoshop, right?
I don't know.
Not in, and I mean, you can in Premiere, but not in CC.
What?
Not
So
speaking
Premiere
English.
is Adobe's photo editing software. If you're just talking like Photoshop CC, it is pretty strictly still images only.
Does Adobe Premiere also do images as well?
No, they're very completely different.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Jesus Christ!
What?
The freaking price.
Is it right?
What?
Is it right?
Oh.
The price?
Well, it's just like, oh yeah, look at the year. It's like, oh
Um,
yeah, $119 a year. It's just like,
I would suggest instead getting DaVinci Resolve, which is totally free and almost exactly as good. It has like a couple of things that it can't do as well, but considering it's free, it's fucking amazing. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but there's some great tutorials online.
alright. Oh, okay. I can see some of the thumbnails. That's actually kind of what I'm looking for. What's the difference between the studio and non-studio?
Not a big difference. Doesn't really matter.
I'm just gonna go with the basic.
Alright.
I mean, the first one was awesome.
You guys are about to fight basically a T-Rex.
Yay!
This will be fine at second level.
Right? Especially since it has some altered stats and I made it my own.
Great.
Oh,
Cannot possibly go wrong.
yeah.
Ooh, I can equip this shield.
Exactly. So that adds a +2 to your armor class.
Well, yeah, but I'm not carrying all this crap.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna have to be making stealth checks. Like, you were spotted by the dinosaur.
It's just like 30 billion things.
Yep. Gonna have to pull a keg on that one. Roll 2 nat 20s when rolling stealth at disadvantage.
Little fluff ball.
Roll initiative disadvantage.
Nah, I'm not gonna make you roll initiative at disadvantage.
Wait. Wait. All these things I'm not proficient in. Hey, roll for it. Like me.
There's this whole album of classic piano covers for like classic rock songs, and I love it so freaking much.
Dude, they keep like Dan keeps releasing like more previews of his acoustic cover album with the Super Guitar Brothers, and it just keeps sounding more and more just so freaking good.
I mean, that's what practice does for you. Like, I freaking wrote like 5 songs in the span of 3 days when I had my flow. It's like, it's just what happens. It's just a thing you do.
I'm reading on my. What? That's such a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, the taller one
Holy
was not the
crap.
brightest freaking...
Holy crap.
Yeah, like...
I'm
Those
just looking-
potions...
I'm just looking at like the descriptions for everything now.
Those potions were priced at 50 gold each, so...
Yeah, I see.
So you basically got the shield for free.
Oh, what? No, 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 no. How does it have 4 views already? Or wait, no. Oh, this. Oh, okay, that's the prologue one. Never mind.
Yeah, that would be it.
Okay, because I'm like, oh shit, I didn't upload that, did I?
Of course, I'm back.
Alright, welcome back, with that being
Give
the
me
case.
1 second.
Alright.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Look at this, me and my scent.
Look at this, me and my son.
All
That
right,
was
I'll be right
funny.
back. I'm gonna try and feed this cat and see if I can get her to leave me alone.
All right.
Alright,
okay,
sounds good.
Still on the break. Sweet.
Oh.
Yes. You go do that. I'm still looking
Brennan,
through some things.
yes.
I
That-
saw it.
Yes. You know what, it's great. I'm putting that in OBS just to show what I'm laughing at, because that's so good.
Same.
That's so funny.
It's.
And I'm just naming it 420, bruh, because why not?
Da, da, da. Keep getting copyright claims.
Dude, I get those all the time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, freaking. Like, I don't mind because I'm just uploading the video just so I can just like get views.
Alright.
But
So, people of Twitch and YouTube, this is what our buddy Matthias posted, and it's amazing.
let me just go to your.
Yes. Alright. Getting rid of that, because as funny as that would be to have that up for the rest of the stream, I'm not doing that.
just the entire time.
Yeah. It's so good.
This is what Dungeons and Dragons has become.
This is what we live for. The memes.
Yes, exactly. Oh,
Which
the
one?
dashboard.
Also,
Bro,
Brennan, I
still
freaking love
have it.
Matthias. Like, he's just. He really is that guy.
A silent badass.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you for letting me know about that.
Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
It is just a little bit more quieter than it was before, but still can understand you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, my microphone, I think, was picking up my computer's loud noises, so I was like, I should turn that down just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Cat
Understandable.
has been bribed.
Nice.
All right, hold on. Okay, so we're back.
We are back.
All right. Cool. So.
Welcome back, my fellow weirdos, to episode 2.
All right. With that being the case, we go back to the second floor of the hidden outpost inn, where our Krampin, Matthias, and Soren have been sitting, and Cassie hasn't been gone for super long, but after a little bit, you're just kind of sitting there, and our Krampin, this does end up waking you up. You hear this just absolute, like, super loud, and then you just hear, and like it begins
Wakes
shaking.
me up, falls out of my chair.
Yeah.
Huh? Who? What? What? What's going on? Who?
And, like all
Alright.
the all the glasses on the table just kind of start falling.
Well, that would probably be the monsters that the farmers are talking about.
All right.
Indeed.
With that, do you guys head on out to see what's going on?
Heck yeah.
Rush outside.
All right.
Let's do
So
it.
you guys go ahead and go outside, and as you're running past the foyer of the inn, you can kind of see Marks has woken up, but he's got like this distant gaze in his eyes, and they're all bloodshot, and he's like, "What? Can someone?" But like you guys just run way too fast to really explain. And you go outside, and the only other person you really see outside is Cassie, and she's just standing there staring as the silhouette of a massive dinosaur-like beast is charging into the freaking village. What do you guys do?
Yeah. I'm gonna start hurling some stuff at it.
All right, I'd like everyone to go ahead and roll initiative.
Roll a what?
Initiative. So roll a d20, and then for you, you would add +1. So don't tell me your numbers yet. I'm gonna Matt Mercer this and just kind of go with the, like, go down the list. So
Yeah.
I believe I would roll a +6.
hang on, wait. Let's see for yours. I know yours would be +2 because it's just initiative bonus. All right. So anyone roll between 25 to 20?
Awesome.
All right, great. All right, and then 20 to 15.
19 for Soren.
All right.
16.
Soren
14.
19. Our Krampin 16, and then
I got 14.
Matt 14. All right, and then 15 to 10.
I got an 11.
All right, Cassie
And what did the dinosaur creature roll?
7.
We don't
So
know.
Yes.
yeah. All right. So as this thing
It's
is
slow.
as this thing is charging at you, you can, like, as it comes into town, you can see it getting closer, and looking at it, you can see it's got like this very kind of neon blue skin with like various spots of white and red, and its head is probably about like 10 feet in size. It's a very massive beast that just towers over all of you. And top of the round, Soren, you are first.
Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead. How far away is it?
So right now, it is about 15 feet away from you.
15 feet away from me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cast Tensor's floating disc, and then step up onto it.
All right.
And how tall is the creature?
So this creature is about. Hang on, I wrote it in my notes. It's standing at 20 feet tall.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and lift myself up to a similar height, and that's the end of my turn.
All right, so you go ahead and lift up, and you're kind of almost at eye level of this giant freaking beast. And Arkrampin, you are next.
Can I cast unidentified flying assistance?
Oh yeah, that's one of his
It's one of
homebrew
my
spells.
custom spells.
All right, and since so go ahead and roll attack. So that'll be d20 plus 4.
Alright, d20. Oh, lovely. That's plus 4. 7.
That misses. So so the rest of you can see him muttering in what sounds like total gibberish. And he just kind of lifts his hand up with a staff in one of his hand, and Bob does kind of like he spreads his arms and legs out, kind of like all Titanic style. And you can kind of hear, whoo, whoo, whoo. And above you, you can see 3 very unusual looking metallic objects just kind of spiraling down. And these strange humanoid looking figures with like this very silver looking skin look down with black eyes, look at the beast, and you notice one of them has a glass of ale in his hand, and he goes ahead and chucks one of the rocks, and they start chucking the rocks, but you can tell they're drunk, and the rocks are just kind of falling around this beast, and then they look at you, and they kind of separate, they kind of like wave at you, and they're like bye,
Yeah,
and then they
like,
just
yeah, hey,
and
how's
then
it going?
and then they fly away and disappear into the sky.
That was not helpful at all.
Is there anything else you want or can do for that matter?
What can I do? What else can I do?
So look under bonus actions and see if there's anything you can do.
Bonus actions?
Yeah.
Oh, actions. Duh. All right. Bonus actions. Actions in combat. 2 weapon fighting. A 2 weapon fight. I don't think I have a 2 weapon.
Yeah, I think you only have. Hang on, let me see.
I have 2 daggers, a quarterstaff. That's about it. So no, I gotta end my turn.
All right. So with that failed strangeness that just happened, the objects go ahead and fly away, and you're just kind of standing there all disappointed, and Bob's just kind of laughing. And next up is Matthias. What would you like to do? This beast is still about 15 feet away.
I'm sorry, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, sorry, I was, things were happening all around.
Okay.
Alright, I would like to, attack with my short bow.
All right, go ahead and roll for attack, which would be a d20 plus 4.
Okay. 17.
Nice, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Damage, that would be...
So yeah, that would be a 1d6 plus 2.
Okay. Or you can actually input the number I typed in website. 4.
All right. Cool. So you go ahead and you go ahead and quickly take out an arrow and you fire it, and it sticks into this beast's thigh, and it just kind of it seems unfazed, and it is still charging your way. Is there anything else you would like to do with your turn?
Absolutely. I would like to I think I would like to hide.
All right, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Stealth check. That's +2. 18.
Ooh, nice. All right. So after firing, you do go ahead and there isn't really anything to hide around, so you quickly go ahead and run around to the back of our Krampin and hide behind him.
He's
That
hiding behind
works.
the crazy guy.
Yes.
Jeez, you're crazier than him.
Well, it's because at least if the beast attacks, he's going to be attacking you and not the other.
That's a good point.
Shield.
I would end up
Yep.
throwing Bob at him.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
All right.
wouldn't I be able to just use my short bow but have a disadvantage?
I mean, you can,
Because
but
I'm aiming past our Krampin.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, you
Please
already
don't
did
shoot
hit,
my
so
ear
you're
off.
good. Oh jeez. All right. So regardless, you assume you are pretty well hidden, and with that, Cassie, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna look around, see that Soren's just like in the air somehow, and I'm like, all right, guess we're fighting this thing, and I'm gonna cast guiding bolt at the beast.
All right. Go ahead and roll attacks.
I'm gonna pray over my die. Ooh, yes. Okay, it's 19 plus 4. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
oh, that's a lot.
Uh,
12 plus 5 is 17. 17 plus 4.
Oh god, she finished her food.
oh jeez.
There's no taming the beast.
Gotta love the kitty.
That's, I believe. Hold on.
And then I think you
Math is
also.
hard.
Oh wait, no, there's no bonus. You just
No.
add 46.
Whatever 12 plus 9 is, it's what, 21? Yeah.
So 21 total damage.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So you go ahead and fire the guiding bolt, and then it like collides, and you can kind of see like some of the skin off this beast's chest kind of starts burning and peeling, and it kind of falters a little bit, and like it starts kind of bleeding out, and it's just kind of drifting out onto the streets, and then just kind of roars. And now it is the beast's turn, and considering that you hit it the hardest, it is going to go ahead and charge at you, and it's going to stomp towards you, and it's going to go ahead and try swiping a claw at you. And let's see. That is 18 to hit.
Ah, that's just enough.
All right. All right, let's see. Okay, then where are my dice? Oh, all right. That's 3 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Cool.
All right, and with that being the case, go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
I know that. Ugh, that's a 6.
Oh yeah, no. So with this swipe, you are knocked off your feet and you are now prone. And with the bonus action, this beast is going to go ahead and take a bite at you.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's see. 11.
Hold on. There we go. What does being prone mean?
So that means you are knocked prone, and I believe. Hang on, wait a minute.
I changed my condition
Okay, and then let me double check to make sure. Okay, so
because nothing
You're-
changed.
your only movement option is to crawl, unless you choose to spend your time getting to stand up. And actually, let me go ahead and re-roll because this thing has disadvantage now that you're prone. Oh, okay, yeah, he rolled a 10.
Oh well, no.
All right, so yeah, so as he goes ahead and tries to bite down at you, you see this coming and manage to roll right out of the way, and it's like it kind of bumps against the ground and stands back up. Top of the round, Soren, what do you do?
You have advantage on your attack.
Turn my raven into a cat. No, just kidding. I am going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on it. It needs to make
Someone attack.
it needs to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw, got it. Let's see here. Oh, geez. That is 18.
Ah, dang it. It makes it.
All right. Yeah.
That's the end of my turn.
All right, Crampin, it is now your turn.
Awesome. I would like to ask a question about a spell. The Chill Touch. It's one of the cantrips. In the description, like at the if it does hit, it says on a hit the target's like blah blah damage. Can't regain. Okay, my question is the last sentence. It says until then the hand clings to the target, which is the Chill Touch. It creates a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within the range. It says it clings the target until the next turn. Does that immobilize them? Like if I do that, can everyone else get a better chance to?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right.
Nah.
Wishful thinking. If it doesn't specifically say it, it doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's just rude. All right. Well, I'm gonna cast that anyway.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
And it was +4, right?
Yeah.
20.
That most definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And then it's one. Oops. Crap.
Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Right. 1d8, right?
Yeah, that'll be 1d8 of necrotic damage.
Oh yeah, this is wait. Which one was my d8 again?
That's the whole reason why I casted Guiding Bolt.
Do I get any? Yeah, plus.
Well, you don't get any.
+4.
Oh no, you don't get any pluses. Like I was explaining earlier, that's just for your hit. That doesn't add to the spell.
There are
damage.
no pluses to
Yeah.
spell damage, like with weapon damage.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
talking
then-
about earlier. So it's just a straight 1d8 roll.
Well, why does it say in the hit DC then?
Oh, that's for when you're rolling whether or not you hit. So that was the roll you just did. So you roll a d20 plus that.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so then it's just 6.
All right, 6 points of necrotic damage. All right. So as you go ahead and send that out, you can kind of see like a bit of a chill kind of spread across its body, and it kind of roars out again, and the chill kind of clings to its body this time, and it's definitely looking more beat up than it did when it showed up. That's for sure. So is that the end of your turn then?
How far away is it from me?
So from you now, it's about 4 feet away.
Can I Misty Step to a safe distance?
Yes, you most certainly can, since that is indeed a bonus action for you. So,
There goes my cover.
oh,
I don't care. He's 4
That's
feet
fine.
away from me.
all right. So with that being the
That's
case,
close.
4 feet away from us.
yeah, exactly. No, you're all in a group right now. So except Soren's up in the air, but you're all still in a group, so you're all pretty close together. So
Okay.
you go ahead and surround yourself in a silvery mist. And how far do you want to travel? Because you can travel up to 30 feet.
Let's go with the full 30.
All right, so easy enough. You go ahead and teleport like 30 feet away, and you're basically on the southern outskirts of the town at this point. And go ahead and cast that spell because that does use up a spell slot.
Where do I see this?
So if you go under spells, there should be an option that says use, and that is your second level spell.
Gotcha.
All right, and so that will be your turn. Matthias, you are up now. The beast is now about 3 feet away from you.
All right. Am I? Oh, cool. I'm in range. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attack with my rapier.
All right, nice. Go ahead and roll attack.
Okay.
In the toe. Just like
That's a D20 plus 4.
Let me go ahead and make sure. Yeah, d20 plus 4.
16.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Beauteous.
So that'll be 1d8 plus 2.
Yeah. Three.
All right, not bad. So as you see this beast kind of closing in on you, you go ahead and quickly unsheath your rapier and you just kind of poke into it a little bit. But the skin is surprisingly tough, but you do still manage to puncture it a little bit. And no blood really comes out. You didn't really puncture it enough. Like, it just kind of slightly trickles down, but there's not a whole lot. And The beast is still standing quite strong. And Cassie, it is now your turn.
I'm gonna take my turn to stand back up.
All right, you go ahead and stand back up. And is there anything else you'd like to do or can do?
No.
All right, so you go ahead and spend your turn standing up, and you are now no longer prone. And now it is this beast's turn, and it did see our Krampin go ahead and teleport away, but it's still going to go ahead and take a swipe at Matthias, who was closer. So it's going to go ahead and rush at you with its claws, and that is an 11 to hit.
Matthias?
What?
Oh yeah, so it's trying to attack you right now, and it rolled an 11 to hit. So does that meet or exceed your armor class, or?
It's below.
All right, perfect.
Misses.
So it goes ahead and swipes at you, but you know you're freaking nimble, so you go ahead and quickly you just jump out of the way as it tries swiping at you, and that is the end of its turn. So top of the round, Soren, it is now your turn.
You gotta be nimble to live in the mountains.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Clearly, all of my tricky tricks are not being particularly useful, so I will go ahead and use my last spell slot to launch a Burning Hands at it instead.
All right, so
So it needs to make a Dexterity saving.
Dex saving throw. Ooh, yeah, that's not gonna happen. That is a 2.
You cut out.
Oh, that is a 2 that he rolled.
Oh yeah, no, not safe. So it is going to take. Awesome, I low, nice and low. So it is going to take 8 points of fire damage.
All right, 8 points of fire damage. Nice. So as you go ahead and cast this, kind of counteracting the chill that was initially on it, just kind of it starts burning up, and you see more of its skin kind of splintering off, and it's like kind of the splintering is like kind of crawling up its neck, and it's kind of screaming, and it's kind of like writhing in pain now a little bit more, and it is definitely looking hurt. It's still standing quite strong, but it's definitely looking hurt. Is there anything else you can do, or is that it?
Nope.
All
Nothing
right.
else I can do.
That is the end of your turn. Our Krampin, you are up, and you are about 34 feet away from the action. What would you like to do?
Well, considering my Eldritch Blast has a range of 120, I'm gonna use that.
Eldritch Blast. All right, go ahead and roll an attack on that.
Alright, and... Crap. +4, right?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting, I apologize. 14.
All right, 14. Oh, that just hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
10. Where do I have my D10? Apologies, I'm looking for it.
Hey, no worries.
There it is. And... Oh, shit! A 10.
Dude.
So it's a crit, does it have a... oh, wait, no, it doesn't. So, yeah, so a 10.
10 damage. Oh. So you go ahead and send this blast of Eldritch energy right at it, and you get, like, the
You kinda
blast
cut off
goes...
it.
Oh, you send this, just this blast of Eldritch energy right at it, and it just goes streaking across town, and actually, real quick, Matthias and Cassie, I want you to go ahead and make...
Saving throws?
go ahead and make dexterity saving throws.
I don't think I'm proficient in that.
It's just like, get out of the way! Can I yell that before
I rolled a
cast
natural
it?
20.
Yes. No, you've already cast it already, but like, yeah, they do kind of hear the blast. And all right, you rolled a natural 20, and Matthias, what did you roll?
It's a D20, right?
Oh yeah, D20 plus for you would
4.
be 6 actually, because you're proficient in that.
Oh yeah, you're correct.
Yeah,
Give me a moment.
and Soren's safe up in the air, so she doesn't even have to worry about this.
I got 13.
All right, that's actually still quite good. So both of you do manage, like you kind of hear the blast nearing you, and you both just kind of back off, and then the blast impacts right into this beast's chest, and it is definitely looking beat up. It's still standing on its legs, but yeah, it's
like
getting
over
there.
18 damage has taken so far.
All right, and with that, anything else you can do with your turn, Arkrampin, or is that it?
Well, let me see here. Nope. Just move on. Next.
All right, so Matthias, it is now your turn. The beast is still within melee range of you, so what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go ahead and attack with my rapier once more.
All right, go ahead and roll attack.
Okay. See, you guys just get to roll dice. I have to type in numbers and hit a button. So that
Where's the
definitely
fun in that?
Yeah, seriously.
that definitely hits. I got 22.
Dude, yes. So yeah, that most
Uh,
definitely is. Go ahead and roll damage.
And damage is a 4.
Is that 4 total?
Yeah, that's 4 total.
Nice. All right. Uh, so like you do kind of poke into like where the skin is starting to expose some of the muscle in its chest, and like it just kind of more blood just kind of splats out a little bit, and then you back off, and it's still standing quite strong though. Is there anything else you can do with your turn, or is that it?
Uh, for bonus action, I can unarmed strike. Or is that something I can't do?
Hang on, let me go ahead and double check.
I thought.
When it comes to that, your bonus actions are so if you're equipping like a another melee weapon, you can attack with that, or you can dash, disengage, or hide.
Okay, so I can pull out a dagger.
All right,
Alright.
fine
Yeah,
enough.
I
So
went ahead and equipped that dagger.
all right,
And I'm gonna go ahead and use that.
all right. Go ahead and roll attack in that case.
Okay. 17.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
And are you attacking with the? Are you throwing this, or is it melee?
I'm stabbing with it.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
Okay, that's D4 plus 2. 5.
Ooh, wow. Even better damage than with the sword. All
Yeah.
right, so as you go ahead and you quickly pull out one of your daggers and you like stab it into the chest, and you manage to get the blade in there quite deep. The beast just kind of like it backs off and like pulls itself away from the dagger, and it's like it's definitely staggering a little bit. And yeah, it is looking beat up. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, but here's a little tip. Daggers are smaller than swords, so they take less time
To do what?
to sharpen.
Okay, fair
So-
enough.
So I guess they're sharper than my sword.
Yeah, fair
which
enough.
Is why it did more damage.
All right. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So with that being the case, you have definitely dealt a decent amount of damage, and with that, Cassie, it is now your turn.
Alright, let me. I'm gonna try and cast Sacred Flame, so it has to make a dex saving.
All right, Dex saving throw. Let me pull up its stats. I have way too much crap open. 10.
Nope.
All right. So what happens then?
I believe I roll 1d8. Yes, okay. That's a 7.
Ooh, yes. All right. So you go ahead and send Sacred Flame right out, and then you just it collides like right under its chin and kind of knocks its head back, and like you can see the muscle kind of beginning to tear a little bit, like, and it's like kind of exposing bone now, and it's like that definitely hit it quite hard, and it's looking weak now, and now it is going to go ahead and attempt to make another attack on you, Cassie, considering you just blasted it in the face. And it's going to swipe with its claw. And that is 21 to hit.
Why are you getting such high rolls against me? Yes, that hit.
All right, and let's see.
Hit someone else, please.
And that is 3 damage.
Okay. Dance, no biggie.
All right, and since it wasn't really charging at you, it doesn't like it's just too distracted from being in so much pain, and it just like it doesn't even try bothering biting at you because like its head is basically kind of dangling by like threads and nerves and stuff at this point. And with that, it is now top of the round. Soren, what would you like to do?
I will go ahead and shoot a firebolt at him.
Yeah, go ahead and.
Natural 20, but it
I'll-
does mean anything for spells.
But still, regardless, no. Go ahead and roll damage.
3 points of fire damage.
That is just enough. How would you like to finish this thing off?
Oh, you said the head was barely hanging on.
Yep.
Firebolt's gonna take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, so you go ahead and send this firebolt soaring and then just like tosses the head right off the body. And you're like as the bones and nerves all snap and just kind of rolls on the ground and like kind of rolls away. And with that, the body of this giant hulking beast just kind of stands for a second and then like lands on the ground. And it's just kind of
Crampin's just in the far background, like that 30 feet away, just jumping up and down, just waving. Yay!
Bob's like, you didn't do shit. What are you celebrating?
I did damage.
And as you're watching this beast, go ahead and Soren, make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy! The ones that got me in so much trouble last time. That is a 20.
All right, nice. So you just kind of watch as like its head is kind of slowly disintegrating and burning, and you kind of catch glimpses of what's happened to you 5 days ago, but then it just kind of fades away. All you see now is just this monster that posed a threat to the people of this town is now dead. And yeah, you guys have already done a good job. Although, as you watch the beast, as it's disintegrating, you notice that it's actually bleeding out black blood, and it's just kind of shriveling up. And our Crampin, I want you to go ahead and make a history check for me.
History check. All right. And I'm pretty sure I'm proficient in history.
You are not. It's just a +2.
Oh, 4.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're just looking at it and they're like, yeah, there's a dinosaur, and
There's a dinosaur.
We ain't found shit.
Well, actually, the way you sound like that, there's a dinosaur. It sounds like the DNA guy from the first Jurassic Park. I mean, you know, when they're like
Yes.
having that tutorial thing.
Yes. All right. I totally. Yep. All right. So yeah, and you just see this kind of body disintegrating, and its black blood is just kind of seeping into the cobblestone streets of this town. And looking around, you can kind of see some of the merchants and the soldiers kind of walking outside, and hang on, let's see. All right, Soren, I want you to go ahead and make a deception check for me.
Oh, great. This is fine. This can't possibly go wrong. That is gonna be an 11.
Oh, that just barely makes it. So, like, you can kind of hear some of the soldiers murmuring, and like you kind of out of the corner of your raven's eye, you kind of see some of them looking at you, and then some of the other soldiers like are just kind of like, no, it's like you're just, it's all crazy or whatever, and and with that being the case, you do see Holly coming out, and she's kind of got like 3 horses, and she's holding them by the reins. She's looking at you guys, and she goes, "What in the world did I just miss?"
A demonstration of our powers.
There was a thing. It was like taller than me.
And then
All over.
and then Bob looks at you, and he's like, "Everything's taller than you."
There's also everything. Everything's also taller than you. You're on a staff. And I just like walk away. I'm like, ugh.
And he's like, "Touche."
Cool guy. Cool guy. Don't worry, explosion. I was pretty much just like the equivalent, like the roasted.
And then
Told you, Bob.
and Holly is looking at this beast, and she kind of sees the remains of its head before it's kind of disintegrated into ash, and she goes, what did this thing look like before you eviscerated it?"
I don't remember.
It looked like a bitch.
I can. And Bob's like, "Right, you are."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But no, it's like a so
20-foot bitch.
no, but like your
It
character's
just got me really mad because Matthias is supposed to be that character, like that angsty fucking, just looked like a bitch.
yes,
It got me more than I thought it would.
but
I didn't
Oh my
actually
God.
mean for my character to say that. I just wanted to say.
yeah, no, that's perfect. But no, regardless, like your characters would have remembered, and it was like you kind of describe what it looked like, and the entire time Holly's kind of looking at it, and she nods, and she's like, "Well, why is that here?" And she goes ahead and she looks at you guys, and she's all, "These things aren't actually native in this continent." And she goes and describes that this thing was an Allosaurus, which is actually native to the southernmost continent of Amorlan, which is just
An Allosaurus, I'm like, was it? Is like a Lotionsaurus? No, nothing. Fine then.
yeah, and it's just she explains how in the nation of Amorlan, or the continent rather, gigantic beasts and just giants in general live. And she just kind of explains, it's weird that something like this would be in the continent of Unistalad, where nothing really gets bigger than like a freaking 8 foot tall elf. And she's just like, yeah, that's definitely not natural. And Soren, you can kind of feel wriggling in your pouch. And
Oh, my buddy.
yeah.
I totally forgot about him. Not even gonna lie.
yeah, I don't blame you. And so the pouch kind of opens by itself, and are you still in the air?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have not left yet.
And this rat, like you know, it isn't like everyone else. You can't really see the details on this rat, but it kind of pokes its head out of Soren's bag, and it looks down at this giant dinosaur and just kind of chitters a little bit, and then just kind of ducks back into the bag and almost like closes it by itself. Like it reaches out with its tail and like kind of tightens it back around itself. And this creature is just from what you can tell is a lot more intelligent than it seemed when you first encountered it. But regardless, you go ahead and finish up. The merchants are all still kind of murmuring amongst themselves, and Holly looks around at all of you and she goes, "Well, it seems like a couple of you got beaten up quite bad."
Couple.
And she says, "Well, from what I've heard, I think this beast has been the one that everyone's been talking about. I believe it's safe to leave now, but after you guys have just done that, I'm actually going to go on ahead, and I want the rest of you to go ahead and stay here for the night and rest, and I will actually meet you in Livia. So, with that being the case, I have a..." She kind of turns towards the horses. She says, "I've gone ahead and rented you guys a ride. I know there are only 3 here, but don't worry. Marx is going to hook you up to a carriage, and these horses will go ahead and take you to Livia. And we will meet again, remember, Old Savage's Pub and Inn." So with that, do you have any questions before I leave?
Well, I've got about 1,000,000 questions, but it'd take too long to try and answer them.
And she laughs and she's like, "Don't worry, you'll understand in time." With that being the case, she just kind of waves to you all and then just disappears without a trace. And you guys are just standing here among all the onlookers, the merchants, and the soldiers, kind of trying to get a look at what's going on. And some of the like generals are like kind of backing everyone away, and they're like, "Nothing to see here. Return to your houses and everything." And
Nothing to see here, my ass.
It's just like Kerber just puts his hands up, going, "People of the city, we have solved your problem. Goodbye."
and go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Well, I'm not persuading anyone to do anything, or for people to actually listen.
Yeah, just yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay, that didn't move the dice. All right. Hold on. Persuasion. Oh, it's proficient, so it's +6. 19.
All right, not bad. So as you're saying this, like the crowds kind of start quieting down, and then you kind of hear a few slow claps coming in from the crowd, but like they're just like, and then when they notice that no one else is really clapping around them, they just kind of stop, and then everyone just kind of returns back to their living quarters or their shops or wherever it is they rest.
Ah, they're just coming down.
And Bob's
Get
like,
it? Because I sold them drugs in the previous episode.
oh yeah, no, everyone in the inn is still high as shit, but so yeah, you guys are just standing here with this corpse. Holly is nowhere to be seen, and it seems like everyone in town is returning to go ahead and rest. And you do see behind you one of the soldiers, like one of the Crowns Guard members. They're kind of clad in their like traditional iron armor, kind of like the blue cowl over them with the royal family emblem, which is like a golden shield with like a lion on it. And they look at you, and they're all, and you can tell this is a human man, and he's about in his 40s, and he looks at that thing, and it's basically it's burnt to a crisp by now. Like you can't even tell what it is, and like the body is still kind of barely intact, but the head is essentially just ash. And he looks at you and he goes, "Well, this thing has been providing us quite a bit of trouble. I'm surprised it came into town. It actually hasn't come in at all. Thank you, I guess. We've been trying to get out of Oiltross for days, but this thing has just been prowling about, and every time we get close, we just get too scared to leave."
You're welcome.
I'm gonna like stretch my arms like above my head, and I'm gonna be like, piece of cake, and I'm gonna walk into the inn.
It was mainly self-defense, and follows behind.
Yeah.
Close to nothing. Your praise is appreciated.
Way to sound like freaking Revner from Apex.
And then, as your guys are passing by, you do, Cassie, you recognize these two teenage boys walking towards you, and one of them is like the really tall one, and they're walking up, and behind them you can see this this kind of shorter human male who definitely looks older than these boys, but he kind of looks up at you and he's like, "So you guys are the ones that killed this thing?" And he looks at you, Cassie, and he goes, "I hear my son cut you a pretty good deal."
We made some trades.
And then and then he nods and he goes, "All right, I understand. Well, as for payment for helping us out, normally I wouldn't do this. I don't like giving out freebies, but my son is he's a little too unintelligent for his own good, but you know what? I don't give a crap." And he goes ahead and hands you the other potion of healing. And he goes, "For the road, for killing that thing. It's much appreciated."
I take it and I'm like, "Thanks, much appreciated, man."
And they go ahead and go off. And with that, Matthias and Soren, you two are still the only ones out. Soren, you're still kind of up in the air, and everyone's just kind of
Shit.
looking. Everyone's just kind of looking up at you, like, "Wait, what?"
And I'm actually gonna come down and let my spell go, and then I'm gonna see if I can harvest like a good 4 foot by 4 foot section of this thing's hide.
I was
Alright.
literally thinking about that because like I kind of want to take one bang.
All right, go ahead and for this, make both of you go ahead and make.
Oh, I've already went in the inn.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make a survival check.
Natural 1.
Oh, no.
So you're going ahead and you're kind of trying to pull it apart, but like a lot of it is still really charred. But you do kind of pull like some unidentifiable part from its body, but it's like this. It's smaller than your palm, and it's kind of black and very kind of it's got like this very wet kind of shield around it, and it's still kind of pulsating when you pull it out a little bit. You don't
Great.
exactly
I
know.
drop it and I leave really fast.
And yeah, you go ahead and you kind of wipe your hand on your cloak, and you go ahead and do you head back into the inn with everyone else?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Matthias, have you gone into the inn, or is there anything else you're doing out here?
I have not gone into the inn yet. Actually, try and harvest.
I'm sorry, you cut out a lot. What was that?
I would actually like to try and harvest one of the eyeballs.
All right. So go ahead and yeah, might as well make a survival check for this one as well.
Can I leave the inn and then go, like, okay, got some high, someone grab the eye. I would like to reach up to the monster's nose and pull out some mucus.
All right. So go ahead and roll survival for that. Brendan,
I
what'd you
got a
roll?
13, by the way.
All right, nice. So easy enough. You go ahead and you hope like kind of pull open its eyelids, and the eyeballs are like the size of your freaking hand. It's like you have to like really like spread your fingers to hold it, and they are very like the irises are almost like a sapphire kind of color, and the or not necessarily the irises. What would be the whites are sapphire, and it's just got like a really dark red pupils, each in the center. And now you are carrying two eyeballs, and the crowd around you is like kind of staring, all like, what?
Oh,
So-
I meant to only harvest one of them, but okay.
But yeah, no, you've got two eyeballs.
Beautiful. Can I put them in my chest?
Wait, like,
I have a
what?
chest.
okay, I thought you meant like your actual chest, like yourself.
No, not my
Yeah.
chest.
I
My
thought
chest.
too.
I like
No.
envision like I'm like Matthias's character, raw, just like, oh yeah.
No, I have a container. It's
All
a
right.
chest.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead and put them in there, and yeah, you just have two Allosaurus eyeballs.
I'm sorry you cut out there for a second.
Oh,
What?
I was just saying. Now you have two Allosaurus eyeballs.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and try to add that to my inventory.
I can also just I'll like send it to you in your notes if you want as well.
Yeah, go ahead and do that so I can just type it in. And
All right, there you go.
And I rolled a 17.
All right, so easy enough. You go ahead and you actually, after like as you go into the inn, you get like the spark of inspiration, and you're like, "Well, I have an idea." And you go ahead and you kind of negotiate with Bob a little bit after a bit of an argument. You go back out, and you go up to this beast, and you hold the staff out, and you poke Bob into its nostrils, and and Bob's like,
Like a fucking Q-tip, just like, get in there.
yeah, and Bob's like, he's like, I don't know why I fucking agreed to this, but whatever. And he goes ahead and scrapes out all mucus, and now you have a little globule of Allosaurus mucus.
Like, yeah, Allosaurus booger.
What's that?
Ew.
All right, and then do you head back into the inn?
Yep, yeah, and then head back in. Oh, custom item.
Yeah. And I also sent it to you in your notes as well. Like, every time you guys do get a new item or something like that, I'll go ahead and just send it your way.
Alright, that way I can have the spelling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, is everyone now back into the inn?
yeah, I head back to the inn.
All right. So you guys go ahead and you walk back, looking around. You can see everyone's still kind of passed out in the foyer, and you guys are just you look over, and Marks is not actually at the front desk.
I want to. I want to just. Well, you already explained like what's up with the room. I just want to head back upstairs.
All right, easy enough. So you go ahead and head back upstairs, and you just go straight to your room.
Yeah.
All right, you go ahead and go straight into your room. And what do the rest of you do?
Can I rent a room?
Oh, everything's already been prepaid. You already have a room here.
Oh, then I would just like to go to my room.
All
Also,
right.
I would like to ask a question. What town are we in again?
It is the village of Oraltros.
Oral Trough. Alright.
So yeah, if you look at the map, like that I have on Twitch, it's to the southeast of Livia.
Gotcha.
All right. And then
It's just the little sorry, the little the description I'm writing for it. You said Alore,
no, oral truss.
Oral Tross.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see it.
You know, Allure is where you began.
Right.
So do you head back to your room then?
Yes, I head back to
All
my
right.
room.
And then Matthias and Soren, what would you two like to do?
Yeah, Soren's also gonna go rest because she depleted all of her magic.
Fair enough. And Matthias?
I'm gonna go to my room and not rest, but still ponder the questions that I still have. Because I don't really need to rest because I didn't really lose anything.
Yeah, that's true. You're like the only non-spellcaster in the party. All right, so easy enough. You all go ahead and come to rest, and as the night is kind of beginning to go on, as the night goes on, Cassandra, while you're sleeping, you can kind of feel that faint, warm glow you felt before when you've heard that voice in the past. And then it's suddenly replaced by a very chilling cold. And in your subconscious mind, you can see just this endless sea sprawled out before you. And up ahead, you can see just this massive continent, and there's this very faint red glow all along the coastline, and smoke rising into the
I will be
sky.
right back. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
All right, and it's rising into the sky. What would you like to do? And you look down, and you're standing on the water.
What? Holy. I'm Jesus. I wanna. I wanna try to. The land's just like. How far away is the land? Is it like? Is it like far in the distance? Like, is it horizon wise or?
The glow is, yes, but you do see the land close enough.
I wanna see if I can like walk.
All right, easy enough. You go ahead and walk along this water, and as you get closer, you start to hear just like almost like a storm of fire crackling. And as you get closer to the shoreline, you can see the entire just continent behind it is aglow with fire. And standing in this fire, you can see 4 silhouettes. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Holy moly. 15.
All right,
All right, I'm back.
as
Sorry.
you're looking at these silhouettes, you immediately recognize them. These silhouettes are Krampin, Matthias, Soren, and yourself. And once you see yourself, your other self looks up at you, and her eyes are glowing deep red, and she's covered in blood, and she just smiles, and you can see there's blood dripping from her teeth. And then the moment you see that, the vision disappears.
Holy moly.
And then with that, morning comes. You guys can go ahead and mark off a long rest.
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out what?
Oh, I said now that morning has come, you guys can go ahead and mark off a long rest, so you have all your spells back.
You just cut it like that last part?
So you have taken a long rest, so go ahead and mark that off in D&D Beyond, so now you have your spells back.
Take long rest. Awesome.
All right.
I have spells.
Oh, and that means all my charges are back.
Yeah, exactly.
For my wall.
All right. So with that being the case, you go ahead and sleep in for the night. You wake back up as you can sense the sun rising, and it's definitely warmer than it was the previous day. And as you wake up, each of you kind of hear knocking at your door, and you hear Mark's voice behind it, and he's all, "Rise and shine, everyone! Got a job for you." And do you guys go ahead and leave your rooms?
Reluctantly.
All right.
And then I leave.
as
I
I'm
do in fact stand up with swiftness.
It's like one of those people that sleeps with one eye open.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm asleep, but I'm not fully asleep. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
that is Matthias in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
well, actually, if I remember something correctly, oh yeah, I don't need sleep. I just meditate for semi-consciously for 4 hours a day.
Oh yeah. Good point. Regardless, you
Afterwards-
do have everything
Yeah, it's
back.
the same benefit. Yep. Sweet.
Alright, and what were you gonna say?
I want like before, so I believe I have like a paint set with me,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to just like sketch out what I saw. That way I don't forget.
Alright. Go ahead and make a dexterity check.
That's just like basic, I believe.
Yeah, just a straight dexterity check.
That dice has been giving me way too many good rolls. 14.
Alright, easy enough. Yeah, you go ahead and, with your painter's kit, you go ahead and sketch that vision you saw of the four of you standing, like, in front of this massive continent on fire. And with that, do you go ahead and leave your room as well?
Yeah.
Alright. You go ahead and leave, and as you are, you see Marks. He's kind of rubbing his temples, and he's got, like, a glass of water at his sides, and at his side, and he looks up at all of you. Like, his eyes are, like, partially squinted, and he's like, "Morning, how did the heroes of Oraltros, whatever, sleep?"
I've had better nights.
Oh, so that's like I heard like half of what was said.
Oh yeah, Marks just said, "How have the heroes of Oraltros slept last night?"
Oh, I only half sleep, but I was all right. Bob snored all night.
Bob's like, "Fuck you, I didn't sleep at all. I was snoring to bother you."
One of these days, Bob, I'm just gonna let you die.
"I'd be glad to do so." And he just kind of smiles.
I have no comment.
Alright, and then Marks is like, "Alright, come downstairs with me. Got some business Holly wanted to deal with, and we'll leave it at you guys." And he goes ahead and walks down the stairs. Do you guys follow?
Yep.
Alright.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that, you guys go ahead and follow him outside the inn, and all the patrons who were like totally high yesterday have totally disappeared. And for being as bright as it is, it seems quite early because no one actually is outside, and none like some of the merchants are like barely getting prepared to open up. But Marks takes you around the back of the inn, and he takes you to the stables where Polly had brought in the horses from before. And you can see now, attached to the horses, is a very well-made wooden carriage that, like with a roof over it. So it has like cover from the elements. And he says, "Don't worry, Holly paid for the whole thing. She just said, take this thing to Livia, and she said to take the eastern entrance, whatever that means."
Guess climb into the carriage.
All right. So which one of you want to go ahead and helm the carriage?
I'm sorry, what?
Which?
I may be having some internet issues.
No, it's not just you.
Okay.
Cutting in and out really badly for me too.
Oh yes. Which one of you want to control the carriage?
Haha, no.
Oh yeah, let the crazy guy drive.
Oh no.
I know.
I'll take it.
Oh. All right. So.
Like I get up there like excited to get ready like I
Oh,
have the reins
God.
in my hand like I'm just getting he just
No.
goes no.
No. Yeah. No.
Like,
No.
kinda just
No.
slowly
No,
takes
honey.
it away.
Although I am a little bit reluctant to do so because
What?
Black Crystal universe.
Oh.
What
If
was
I have
said?
learned anything within the Black Crystal universe, it's carriages equal death.
Oh, geez, you're right. I forgot about that scene in The Essence.
Yeah.
Hey, but that was because of the person controlling it. As long as you're not that person, you're fine. But
Oh.
all right.
okay.
So with that, you guys go ahead and jump into this carriage, and Marks kind of pats one of the horses, and he looks up at you, Matthias, and he goes, "Well, it's all yours. Happy trails." And he goes ahead and walks away, and you go ahead and try to leave the town.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make an
Let's do
animal
that.
handling check.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, animal handling. All right,
Yeah.
that's +1. 12.
All right, hey, that's actually not bad. You go ahead and snap the reins, and with it, the horses just kind of start carrying the carriage. And since there are three of them, they carry the carriage with no trouble at all. And the wheels just kind of start creaking, and they're kind of bumping against the cobblestone streets a little bit until finally you go ahead and hit the dirt road that's heading further north. And as you go ahead and leave the small outposts of Oral Trust behind, you are now surrounded by grasslands, by forests, and out in the west you can hear the light sound of the ocean waves. And now you are out on the open road, and that is where we'll begin our next episode.
Oh.
Yay.
And I even like got an idea, like, you know, as we as we were like getting out of town, it's like, huh, in case we're ever chased, I can just yell at the freaking horses and Minotaur, and that'd probably freak them out.
Probably, but
That
you
would
can't guarantee
piss
where
me
they'll
off
go.
as I am driving.
Yeah. All right.
I
Yeah.
would actually shove you out of the carriage.
Well,
That-
I'm well, technically, I'm sitting next to you, so.
Ah, jeez. All right. Yeah. With that, you guys are off on an adventure now. You guys
Oh,
are.
yeah. This is getting good.
Yeah. No one died. No one dipped below 0 HP.
I got
I
pretty
wasn't
dang
even
close.
damaged at all.
Insane.
Same.
Because I was the only one getting hit.
Hey, we like some of us were getting hits. It's just like I was just getting the hits, just like from a safe distance.
Well, you tried to hit me, but
You-
I'm too good, bro.
You're you, man.
I'm a warlock. I gotta shoot spells from a distance.
Matthias be nimble. He lives in the mountains west of Olymp.
Yep. All right. Man,
Alright.
this is definitely the dumpster fire I was hoping it would be.
This is
So,
gonna be fun.
Oh no, dude, this is great, especially for like a first campaign.
oh yeah, for like, cause yeah,
From a
this is the
person who knew nothing about D&D besides watching Critical Role.
Only
yeah, this-
one person of experience in this entire freaking campaign.
yeah.
I mean, I've played D&D for half my life, but
Yeah, you're the only one with experience.
Yeah.
This is all of our first times.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
I only I knew I wanted to get more into D&D when I got like the God of War like loot crate, and it came with like a whole set of dice and it's God of War themed. I'm just like, oh, I have to use this now.
oh yeah, that's perfect. And now you have a use for it. And Brennan, you
Yeah.
eventually need to invest in some dice because it's way more satisfying than using a website. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna look on Amazon.
Or go
Or
down to
set.
Iguana.
Well, I don't think Iguana's open right
yeah,
that's a good
everything's
point.
crazy. But
All right.
Regardless-
In the meantime, make sure we all stay weird by fellow weirdos.
yeah, and thank you guys so much for coming, and hope you all have a good night.
Have a good one, my goodmans.
I.
Bye.